this out. Oh, we're live. There we go. Thank you, Hazel. We're live. So, good morning, everyone. I'll just pop it around here so you can see us. Oh, I tell you what, it doesn't really matter. I'll just. So, good morning. I can't. We're still figuring all of this out, so apologies. I don't know if anyone's actually on right now. Anyway, there we go.
This out. Right. So yeah, good morning, people that are joining us.
Morning.
On doing a things to do in February. What was it? Live stream.
Live stream, not
today.
podcast. Yeah, visual podcast.
Interpretive podcast. Sorry, I don't know. I'm lost the ability to speak this morning. Yeah, good morning. We've got February things that you can do live stream today, and we're going to be looking at things, and it's been demonstrated quite well. A lot of what we're going to talk about by the fact, I don't know if you noticed, it snowed quite a lot yesterday. So I reckon, first of all, because it is melting quite quickly, maybe we should go and look at the things out there. Do you want to?
Yes, I'll pick the...
run and talk that through?
I will do. Hold on. Again, apologies for the camera work. It's almost just on my face now.
Close up your chin.
Yeah, there we go. So, as you can see, we've tried very carefully to make sure that we minimize our footprints as much as we can. So one of the best things to do if you realize it's snowed, I know everyone wants to go out and start sledging or going for a snowball fight. One of my favorite things to do is just go and look for things like this. So it's melted quite a bit since this morning, but here you can see there are some footprints. Right now, they're a bit difficult to tell what they are, but they're bird footprints. So you can kind of see here how it's got this longer bit here, and then almost like the three prongs coming off. So this is the back of their foot, and that's where the toes are. And from the size and gait of these, you can tell it's a bigger bird. So it's not a robin hopping about because it's walking. So we think it could be a pigeon because they're quite big. But yeah, some really nice things to look out for. And yeah, we'll be going up into the woods in a little bit to look at some other things, some signs that come out in February. But one of the things that we can do right now is look at what you can be planting, because we are an organisation that runs a lot of things to planting, so why not get on that right now? So as you can see, we've got this bed here. We weeded it because we've not through fault of our own, we've neglected the garden a little bit recently this year because of everything that's going on. So this bed here, it's quite dry. We've given it a bit of a water.
It was incredibly dry.
But it's not seen much love recently.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll quickly start on things that you grow vegetable-wise. Look at this morning. If you're lucky enough that we've got a massive polytunnel, you might have a little greenhouse. I've got a little greenhouse on my allotment. You might even just have like a little cold frame where you just have a little wooden structure with a perspex roof or something. Just something that's undercover. That opens up what you can do quite a lot in February. But there's also, a lot of us have a windowsill. Even if it's just a little windowsill, you've got somewhere where you can start seeing things off. So by having this polytunnel with this raised bed in it, we've got some things that we can start off on. So you can kind of see what I've got here. I've put these bamboo poles out. And what I'm going to do is, that's kind of setting up so we can do successional sowing. So successional sowing is where you sow seeds hoping to have a constant crop. So if you harvest it in 3 weeks, you plant something else in a week's time, which means you can harvest that in 4 weeks. And it means you've always got sort of a rolling amount of what you want. So you don't want to plant all your radishes now, because if you plant all your radishes now, in a month's time, you might end up with a lot of radishes. And then in a month and a half's time, no radishes. All ones you've had a month, they've all gone woody.
I'm probably an upset stomach from eating way too many radishes.
Control your radish intake. So what I've done here is I've separated out. So we're going to have this as a winter salad bread. We kind of grow tomatoes here. summer, but for now we'll have it as a salad bed. But what I've done is I've separated it out so you have a quarter that is where you're going to put your radishes, a quarter that's going to be where you put your salad, then your brassica leaves, so your mustard greens and things, and then whatever else. But you only do a row of it now, so you've then got, but you know that this space is allocated to that, so you don't get carried away with all radishes. But I don't have time to show you sewing it now, but like, yeah, do just a row along the back, and then in a week's time, we do a row here, and a row here, then a row here. And it just means that you don't get carried away and overfill the space and get a bit carried, because it's quite easy to be like, I will do successional sewing. And then you're like, oh, but I've got these plants to put in there. And then you mess up your plan, basically.
I mean, this works really well with things like radishes, things that grow within a month. So, yeah, you're gonna get radishes in a few weeks. I think it actually says on that packet like 3 to 4 weeks.
And it's a little bit slower this time of year, colder, slower. But saying it's possibly a little bit early for, they say March on the packet, but there's no harm.
I think it's
so many of the packet.
Yeah.
You sow some now. If they don't take, you sow some more in a week, and some more in a couple of weeks, and they do take. Not lots much, just on a row. And it might mean you get radishes earlier than you would do otherwise. So.
And also, if we're talking about growing in a polytunnel or a greenhouse or on your windowsill, the timings of that change slightly, because it's still cold in here, but it's not as cold as it would be outside.
We noticed it this morning. It's a bit weird, echoey.
Yeah.
It's got all the snow on the roof. But it's got all the snow on the roof, which means it's just insulated it. I came in this morning and was like, oh, it's weird. It just sounds weird. So yeah, that's something we can do inside, and you can sow on your windowsill. There's things you can get some of your brassicas going, like your summer cabbages. You can get some cauliflowers and also alliums, so the onions and leeks. You can sort of get the seeds for them sown, and that's something you can do either in a greenhouse or on your windowsill at home. Later in the month, you can look at getting your tomato seedlings done. I'd say you can do it early, and if you've got a south-facing window or a conservatory, you can get them sown out. They do tend to go leggy, which is where they sort of get really tall looking for the light. They don't, if they're not getting enough light. So that means that you're quite likely to want to go slightly later in the month, so you get a healthier plant.
What's the problem with them going leggy, though? If I have a plant and it's just gone really, really leggy. So imagine, it's energy-based, really. If you're putting all your energy into growing super tall, you're not putting any energy into what we want from the plant, the fruiting body. So yeah, or if it's a brassica, it's not going into like the flowers for the cauliflower or broccoli or whatever. So yeah, if you try and keep it small, gets the higher yield.
Yeah, so that's things you can do inside.
And
there's some things that we're saying, stuff like garlic that you wanted to get in. You want to get that in the ground so it gets as cold as possible. So if you didn't get your garlic in time, now's a good time to either be putting it in pots and putting it outside so it gets the cold, and that means it splits the bulb and you get the separate cloves. Or you can put them in pots and put them outside, or if you can get in the ground, if it's frosts for long enough, you can still plant them in the ground like you would. And you're better off getting it in the ground than you are. The cloves will definitely be dead next year. Like, they're not going to do anything to save them for a year. So if you've left something a little bit late, just take the opportunities to do it, because you're not going to lose anything. And then, so that's kind of sowing. Things like you can get early broad beans in as well. But something that's really important at this time of year is you get days like this. We go outside.
Yes, yeah. We'll go out because we're heading that way. Yeah. So
it's a really good time to start planning. And
also, I just have to quickly say apologies for the mess of the polytunnel. For any volunteers watching thinking you've made a mess, we're having some work done. So that's
this is all going to get paved, so this is all going to be sort of level and accessible. But it does mean
there's method in the mess.
But winter time is a really important time for planning what you're going to grow. And the thing about successional planting, if you want to produce produce all year round, or and you can space well and get as much of what you want, so you don't necessarily want 200 cabbages. Like, I don't know how much cabbage you eat, but
I love it. I love cabbage.
I do love cabbage. I love sauerkraut, but I'm not really into making sauerkraut with a lockdown. So planning the succession, planning the use of space. The rainy days where you can't make it outside, just thinking through. And I've got a diary where I've got a month by month plan written out.
Jane has said Hollybush projects garlic should be poking through in the snow in one of their raised beds.
Oh, over there.
Should we quickly? Should we go? Yeah. Thanks for saying that, Jane. Also, welcome.
This is so garlic you would have ideally put it in before Christmas.
Oh, it is. Oh, yeah. Look at that. God, look how well it's planted as well.
Beautiful new growth.
There we go. So you can.
Slightly further ahead of mine.
Beautiful.
Yeah, what variety have you got in there?
Let's see. Yeah. God, look at that. Wonderful. Really neatly planted as well.
So for people that didn't see that comment, that was in a question in the comment.
Oh, it was popped up on the screen. You know, and they can pop the comments up on the screen. Yeah, Hazel's the mastermind behind all of this.
So we do have Hazel sort of operating in the background.
Jane's not sure. She just put No, but it's garlic. Yeah.
Getting things in the ground, thinking about what you want to grow. It's good to start that as early as possible. Wet, snowy days where you can't easily access the garden or don't want to access the garden that much. It's the perfect time to be thinking it through.
But Freya, I know what I want to grow. I want to grow some rhubarb. I don't know where I can grow it. Is there a sign when it's snowing? Oh, look at this. How interesting.
So, this is something that I've been doing this. I was coming to it. So, something that's really useful about snow is getting to your garden. You can see, so it's something called a drip line. You might sometimes read about a drip line when you're looking into where to plant stuff. The drip line is basically the line around the tree where it drips. And I've got a massive apple tree on my allotment, so I'm sort of trying to plan around this apple tree. I was trying to plant my rhubarb. I've transplanted rhubarb, which is very fun. And I was trying to figure out where in relationship to the drip line it was exactly. And it was really hard to tell. But then it snowed, and there was this sort of perfect semicircle that just showed me where I wanted to plant the rhubarb, because it impacts the sort of what can be planted. You can see exactly that here. Because all the snow's melted. So yeah, it's just a really nice time to get out of the garden and start thinking about how different elements, if you've got some trees or something, how those different elements of your garden might interact. And that can help you sort of what shade levels you like to get, and also what water levels you're going to get, because it's dripping down. It can knock seedlings quite hard. You've got your seedlings, but it also does impact the amount of water it's getting, because the roots of the tree will probably be covering that area and drying that soil out to the deep roots.
Apologies, I always forget to put my phone on silent. I'm going to quickly run over here and show you some more footprints just while we're going over. So,
this time of year, to just break ice, it's got a bird bath, it's got a pond, or any trace water, just break the ice, and that means birds have something, and animals have a way to get it.
Yeah.
I don't think it's frozen solid, but
yeah. Yeah. So today it's a bit slushy, but when we were doing the Great British Birdwatch last week, so the pond was frozen and just the edges were accessible, which is okay. But yeah, if you can get in and just give it a bit of a break up, it gives more space for them to drink. So here, I'm going to carefully try and not step on where they are. You can see these little paw prints. So it looks like, I don't know, I mean, would the cat come to drink out of the pond? Because it's come right up to the edge of the pond. It's probably hunting all the little birds. And it's going over there. And you know what? It's fine. I'm on the stream. We also have these really interesting prints here. that look like they really do look like hoof prints. Come and have a look. I'm unsure as to what they are, but I mean, it could.
Is it just where it's, I think it might be where they've stepped. No,
It could be, yeah, yeah.
But we do get deer around along the canal path, but we've got a massive security fence, so we don't.
It's a bit of a jump.
Broad beans, the gardening course put in. So for anyone that's been on the gardening course, that's how well they're doing.
Yeah, they're quite. Yeah, they're doing quite. Yeah.
And then possibly another demonstration of if you use horticultural fleece. Now is the time of year to be removing the horticultural fleece, because I don't know if you can see, these are broad beans and they're pushing right up against it. So we just need to make sure if you put anything on like this, I'll come and do a more thorough job later, but just making sure that you're removing it, because it's just going to, at this stage, do more harm than good. These plants, like, it feels like they'll be too, you can kind of see that one's been a bit damaged by it.
Mm.
It feels like you're doing more harm than good by having them, you're like, they're tiny seedlings, like how can they survive frost? Like they're evolved to do that. That's exactly what they do. They poke up. My broad beans have just started to emerge just before all of the frost and stuff, like just poking out. They weren't even fully green yet. They were still like really pale because they hadn't got to hit the sun and hadn't developed the chlorophyll. And then they all got covered in snow and ice. And it was like, oh god, my poor little broad beans and garlic. And they're fine. They're doing absolutely fine. As soon as there's a hot day, they'll grow a bit more, and then as soon as it gets cold again, they'll just stop for a bit. It's just what they do. So yeah, have a bit of faith in them being a bit resilient.
You can see here next to you, some of the garlic has actually poked through the fleece.
It has, yeah.
So that has the ability to do that, which is, yeah. You can see when it starts doing that, I think that's a sign of maybe take it off, because it wants to naturally grow through anyway.
So the horticultural fleece, it helps with germination, so it insulates the soil, it keeps the soil warm, to germinate a little bit early. Once they've germinated.
Yeah. I mean, you can see this soil here. I don't really want to touch it because I've not got gloves on, but it's not frozen solid. Whereas the compost we've been dealing with week on week now has been a brick. It's been frozen completely, but this here has kept a decent enough temperature to not have frozen.
Another thing you mentioned last week, keep topping up your bird.
Oh yeah, so you can see that's just from that's a week's worth of eating. That just a little over a week and a couple of days. But yeah, they've almost finished that off.
Actually, it's probably fallen, so there's still a little bit left, but it's actually fallen below the bit they can access.
Yeah, I think there might be some holes in the bottom, but yeah, we need to top. We need to top it up.
What we'll do later, we'll take that down. Might pour the seed on the table so other birds can get at it, but we'll take that inside. We'll give it a proper wash.
Yeah.
Like we said last week, if you fill in your bird feeder, just make sure you wash it every time, because it's in. All the birds are going to the same station. And imagine, when you go to a cafe, not clean the table, it's a bit gross.
There's bits of grated cheese on the table.
And use napkin. It's kind of like with someone obviously blown the nose with. It's basically like that with the birds, and it's quite. It can be quite dangerous for birds if you don't clean them regularly. So wash them. I mean, there's something like wash it up like you're washing your dishes.
Oh, quickly as well, I just want to show. The interesting thing about the seed mix we've got, it probably did tell us all the seeds that were in it, but you can see here the ones that they've left are all the same. So there's the black ones and the rounder brown ones. So yeah, it seems like we don't have any birds around here that fancy those.
Yeah, and when it says on if you bring it up on the right seed, and some stuff you get bird seed that are just sort of bulking out fillers, but we don't necessarily like that much. That's what that is.
Yeah. Yeah, it was from just yeah.
Completely melted like that. Wear these bricks. With those like sort of massive and the box can have a colour, it sort of follows the shape of a sort of a semicircle and under a tree. Chances are this is another strip line. So yeah, with cat footprints. It's a pet cat. It's got a collar and everything, but it likes to roam Hollywood pretending it's wild.
And I think it's loved recently. Not many people have been in. It's kind of claimed it back. So another thing to look out for during the summer year is these beautiful plants here. So they're not ready yet. These are daffodils. But you can see they've got these beautiful green spears sticking up, and the buds at the top here that hopefully will open up in a few weeks, probably, wouldn't it?
Yeah, yeah. You get it's round sort of St. David's Day. You get all the daffodils.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense to me.
Yeah, they're kind of coming up.
Yeah, and I mean there's a lot to be said for going out into a green space and searching for things like this, because it's linked a lot to hope. So you go into a space where right now it might not seem great, all the leaves are still around, it's a bit wet, it's a bit sort of grey outside, but you come and you look at something like this and it's signs of life to come. So it's a really positive thing to look out for. And buds on trees as well. And yeah, I think you can see on this one here, so this has got, it's not going to want to focus. It always fights me.
Really nice activities that you can do, like look at the different buds of trees. So hopefully Hazel can
and I think we might be sending that out to some people at some point.
Hopefully, yeah, you can have a look at that, and it's just a great way. So all the different.
It's struggling a bit, but
like all the different trees have different buds, so they all look slightly different. They have different bud formation. So it's one of the ways that you can help. You can ID what trees stop. Oh, there's so many bowls. If anyone's ever been to Hollybush, it's pretty so heavy.
Yeah.
It's been planted everywhere. Everywhere you look.
You can see in here, I don't know how well the camera's showing them up, but there's like 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, more than I can count. All the daffs are coming up now. It's going to be, there's a promise of it looking really, really pretty in a few weeks.
Yeah, and so bulbing plants, they do come up this early, and they're evolved to come up this early, and because they're evolved to be sort of forest floor plants, so they come up and they do a lot of their life cycle before the leaves come on the tree. So things like your snowdrops, your bluebells, your daffodils, they store all the energy, so they don't need that much sun. They kind of use the energy of the bulb to come up early before the trees in full leaf. So a little bit of why they come up now.
It's another reason why something I didn't realise when I was younger, how fatty things like garlic and onions are. Like just the fat that's in them when you're cooking them. It's because they're storing all of that energy. They're the bulb essentially, and they're storing all that good energy, which is why a lot of the time if you plant bulbs, you might find that they get taken up by lots of little mice or shrews, because they're packed full of energy for the plant, not for the mice.
Another thing we could do.
See here. I tell you what, it's not warm, is it? The hand holding the phone is quite chilly. Oh, there we go. There's a robin. Obviously, really well camouflaged, so you can't really see it. Oh, let's see if I can get in a bit close. Oh, it's just flown off. Never mind. Go back and watch last week's if you want to see some up close birds. Which bit? Oh, the bird. So you can see here. I think it was last year. It was around that about 6-7 months ago that this bit of the tree was coming over onto the path, needed to come down, and where we've cut it, you can see the tree has started to bud. And again, so it's little things like this that when I go for a walk outside, you can look at beautiful, massive landscapes and get sort of, your nature fix. But it's these little things like this as well that Really quite beautiful. And then here we go. Come up to the star attraction for sort of this time of year. Are these beautiful little flowers? Yeah. So, in fact, I think you can show. There might be some that succession-wise what they do. So they start off looking a bit like this. They look like sort of really thick grass, don't they? Like little tufts of really thick grass. And then as they start to flower, they get these beautiful snowy droplets. So snowdrops.
Yeah, we were talking about.
This is like a nature documentary. A wild Freya.
Yeah, you get sort of snowdrops, these things, flowers, things like primrose, old man beard, blackthorn things coming. We're saying, so snow, very cloud. I don't go outside, dark all the time, feel miserable. But getting out into the garden, it does bring like
Yeah.
it's ingrained in our DNA. Like it is a sense of hope and well-being, like the access to like just being around trees and things. Chemically, your body responds to it. So
Yeah.
Even if you don't like nature or don't think you like nature, there's still a positive chemical response in your body to being around green. I'm saying that, yeah, the number of people I know who are like, oh, the weather's been rubbish all winter because we have to go outside all the time for our job. It's like, we'll be like, yeah, it's been really sunny. There's been loads of beautiful, crisp, sunny mornings. And just making yourself get out, look for this sort of thing, at least once a day or a couple of times a week, just for a little while, and you'll be amazed at the number of things that you really start mindfully, focusing in on it and looking and really paying attention to the things around you.
There's a really good practice you can do where if you find a spot that you particularly like, or just on your if you walk to the train station or the bus stop or something on a morning, if there's a patch of greenery, like for example this here, if you visited this all year round, you'd notice that it changes a lot, and it's really nice. It digs into that sort of caveman nature of knowing where you are and like knowing the changes that happen throughout the year, and it's something to look forward to as well.
Yeah, it's the time of year where it's the halfway point between winter solstice and the spring equinox. So we're kind of halfway out of the dark phase of light. And the reason those were festive is they're really linked into growing. So this is very much sort of turning point, everything coming back to life. When you're digging all of the roots and things, even the sprouts on them, like everything's starting to feel alive. Not quite spring, we've got a go back.
Can you hear now, Julie? Sorry, yeah, there was some lorries. Julie just said she found it hard.
Oh, sorry.
So yeah, we're good. Just maybe say where we are in the year again because of the lorries.
So again, Monday was Imbolc, which is the halfway point between the winter solstice, so the 21st of December, which is the shortest day of the night, and the 21st of March, which is the equinox, where it's 12 hours long, 12 hours light, dark. And Imbolc was sort of halfway point between those two things. And it was a pagan festival, but the reason it's a pagan festival is because of the importance of connection to plants and growing historically in humans. And those points are really significant growth health because it is when stuff starts to come to life, and it is celebrating that sense of that time of year. So yeah.
We're halfway through. Well, we can see the light at the end of the tunnel. The good weather is on the way. Hopefully it starts getting a bit warmer as well, because these winter streams have been rough. Yeah, it makes me long for the days where we were sweating in the summer sun. Yeah. Yeah. So again, More things popping up here. But look, oh, it's a shame that the snow isn't as much, but maybe next week, because apparently it's supposed to snow again this weekend. So if you can get out, even if you just get out into your, your driveway or your front garden, just get out when the snow is fresh, and you will see little footprints or little, little bird prints. Or if you've got a cat, you'll see its paw prints. And even if you know the cat that's done it, it's still really cute and nice to see. Again, I guess there's something hunter-gathery about that, because when you see footprints, I don't know, I always, oh, here we go, this is squirrel prints. Yeah, so mixed in with this cat, this is the cat paw print here, and then these here are the little squirrel prints. So you can see they're about half the size, and they're tiny. They're about the size of my fingertips. So that one there. Yeah.
The fox definitely comes up here, brings in
Apologies.
What?
The phone going off there.
Yeah, get chip chop wrapped fox. We're like, who keeps climbing the fence and eating their takeaway and then littering in the whole side? It's a fox. They've like lots of tiny little tooth marks in it.
There we go. So again, even though I know and I've seen squirrels here, it's still really nice to see their tiny little paw prints.
Oh, and I don't know if anyone did the big garden bird watch.
Oh yeah.
I did it on my allotment, and the number of all the birds sort of fluttering around in pairs. There's a lot of they're not nesting just yet, but there's a lot of bird flirting going on. They're all pairing up and having squabbles, and fighting for territory and things. So you're getting the male ones having a bit of a fight, like blackbirds in the live stream last week. Mm-hmm. I had 2 robins fighting on my allotment. They're pairing up with partners for the nesting season.
Oh, Julie's just said quickly, it's meant to snow all of next week. So also this, I'd just like to say now, just to prepare, if it is really bad weather, we may have to postpone the stream, because coming into work is difficult sometimes.
So that's something else. That is some of the things we should do in February and sort of March time. This time of year is the lead up to spring, is a lot of tree work and a lot of tree planting and a lot of pruning of the hardwood, the fruit, so apple trees and fruit bushes. But we're going to do those in separate live streams. And I would say you can feel like you should be doing it now, but wait until we've talked about it in the live stream, because we do want to hold off on things like that a little bit. So
Lucy said, "You are so right about the bird flirting." So while you're working at home, Lucy, is that what you're just peeping on all the birds in your back garden?
So we're hopefully going to be doing tree planting next week, tree planting and house plant ahead. But we might struggle with that. If the ground is frozen, we might struggle. But we may be able to do something. If we can't get into work, we can still possibly do something remotely. Yeah. We'll figure that out. We'll figure something out.
We'll keep you tuned. Yeah.
But
so
do bear with us if we have to change the plans last minute.
I'm gonna flip the camera around really quick.
I think we should just do the big blue one.
This is not. I don't think there's quite enough snow for that. But next week. Sorry. Yeah.
I made one during the East. Right.
So
yeah, thank you very much for joining us, everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully you've got some good tips of things that you can do this month, but also if there's something you can do in the garden, things you can do out and about, just to make yourself feel better. That's the whole point of it.
Yeah, get out. I mean, even like yesterday, it was raining in the afternoon, but getting out early in the winter, you do see some really beautiful sunrise. Like when the sun's out, it's really bright. It's like low on the horizon. And the snow glistening, and there can be some really beautiful moments. I went for a walk,
but it was still raining in the evening.
When I got back, I was very wet. But I had a nice warm shower.
Snow vents. In fact, that was like an army of tiny snow I found. It was worth it. Even getting out and about when it was raining and the weather was rubbish, it still felt like a positive experience. But so I've been Freya. I don't think we quite did that.
Oh yeah.
I forgot how to talk.
I think the people watching live know who we are, but for anyone that's new to it, I'm Alex. Oh, we just introduced ourselves at the exact same time. Go on, you go.
Okay, that's Alex. I'm Freya.
Goodbye.
We're from TCB Hollybush, and we work for the Green Gym, and we'll be back next week in some form or another. So thanks very much, everybody, and take care of yourself and stay warm.
Yeah, stay warm,
Bye.
wrap up and go outside. See some nice stuff outside.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us. Bye-bye.